Hi everyone, welcome back to another vlog. I realised I wanted to properly introduce this next vlog, which is a bit of a hangover from the end of the Fisherman's Friends the musical tour, which finished well over a month ago, but I still had some things that I wanted to tell you. It's just that the previous vlog was going to be way too long, and I thought what I had left to say would make a vlog by itself. As you can see, I am in my car with loads of camping gear in the back, and that's because I'm already in France, ready to do my next vlog. I'm on a bit of an adventure if you missed the end of the last vlog. Spoiler alert, it's going to be in France. I'm going to be talking about what it was like to be the Melodeon player in a folk music musical. There's a few more details about the other instruments I was playing, and also how I felt about the whole experience, really, and exactly what it meant to me as a theatre fanatic and amateur dramatic fan from a very young age. Also, just a quick plug to say, if you haven't already done so, please like and subscribe, leave me a comment. I really like to chat and interact with people on YouTube, and the subscriptions and all the likes really do help. I'm trying to grow my channel, so anything you can do to help would be amazing. And also check out the links in the description. I run a Patreon, I do online Melodeon classes. If you're interested in lessons with me, I've got loads of stuff on offer, so do check that out. Anyway, on with the vlog. This particular instrument popped up occasionally throughout the whole show with three other of my instruments. So the whole show is played across on diatonic boxes. This big 18 bass, which in my case is a GC, but when Hazel was on, she was playing her DG 18 3-row. I played a DG box, I played my CF and a B flat E flat. And between all four instruments, the show was able to happen. Part of the complication with the Melodeon track, or all of the instrument tracks, was where you left the instrument and where you came on and left the stage. So those things had to coincide, and luckily for me, because Hazel was going before me, she was able to teach me that element of the job. Other instruments that were used were my precious DG Trilly, my lovely Piccoletta B flat E flat, and the Student One CF, which I'm really grateful was actually able to be converted to a 12 bass instrument because the show required that my instrument had these extra notes. I was happy for it to be converted, and it went off to Mike Rowbottom, and he did the conversion for me, and the production company paid for that, so that was quite incredible. My poor DG took a bit of a beating in Newcastle, which I think was only my second full week with the show, and I was completely exhausted. I'd spent so much of my own time learning the show in between my weeks, and I fell down some stairs, just completely fell to my knees and slammed the instrument down, luckily on its feet, so these brass feet. But this one, in the bottom corner, just buckled 90 degrees and actually smashed into the casework. And I picked it up immediately and was looking over it and was like, oh my God, are you hurt? Are you hurt? And then I saw that and I burst into tears. Didn't care that my knees were bleeding and that I was, feeling worse for wear. But the instrument, obviously, I needed to use it that evening. We were opening the show in less than an hour. Fortunately, it wasn't damaged. It was still in a playable condition. I just had to go on all week with this kind of bit of the corner smashed in because it was damaged during the show. It got sent off, and all of the costs were covered by the insurance on the production. So I'm very grateful again that it was able to be fixed very quickly. And the wonderful Mike Rowbottom yet again had an instrument from me that needed a very quick turnaround. So I'm very grateful to Mike. He really did look after me during that, the whole run, to be honest. There were various things that needed doing. But he managed to get it back to me, and with a nice neat fix, I think. I do have a base plate on order from Castagnari, so that if that should ever fail for any reason, I have a replacement part. The tuning went a bit wonky in Canada, so the instrument got sent away, it got fixed, but Mike didn't have time to do any tuning, and to be honest, at that particular moment, it was fine. but we got to Canada and I could feel that the right hand was going a bit weird and wobbly. And there's a moment in the show, the DG is played quite a lot, where I need to sustain a G chord, like an open chord, and I would be playing this in the middle, and then I'd need to switch to the pull version. And because those are obviously 4 different reeds combinations on the push and the pull, one of the sets, I think the pull set, had gone rather... So whenever I got to that moment in the show where I needed to switch, it wasn't the most seamless switch to a drone because of the tuning. But that all got fixed when we got back to the UK in January, and she was good to go again. The other thing that I realised quite quickly is that because of the way the instruments had to sit on the music stands around the stage, we had a stage right music table and a stage left music table. The instruments had to sit like this on the bottom of their bellows, which isn't normally how I'd want to stand them. Normally I'd want to stand them on their feet so that the brass feet take any scratches and what have you. But because we had these mic packs with very expensive mics on that were bent round here, they couldn't sit like that because there was a microphone here. So the instruments had to sit like this, and I could tell very quickly. It's nothing and I'm okay with it. Again, I like to look after my instruments, but they're working instruments and they will take knocks and scrapes. That's just, I've accepted that for my instruments. But out of an 8-month tour, I really wanted to try and make sure that they were going to be looked after as best as possible. So I invested in some extra wooden feet. I got these from Charlie Marshall. He's based in Scotland and he just gets any little bits and bobs out to you incredibly quickly in the post. And these are just a couple of wooden pegs. I have the intention to stain them like Paduke red, so they blend in, but they've been like this now for ages and ages, and they'll probably ever stay like this. So I added these in, and it just meant that the instrument can sit down and it doesn't then damage any of the wood. And I had it done with all of my other boxes as well. I got some black rubber feet for this, and I got some white rubber feet for my lovely CF as well. It was an absolute dream come true to be part of Fisherman's Friends the musical. I mean, a folk music musical, it could not be more perfectly perfect to everything that I've worked towards and just aspired to. I never thought I would be in a musical theatre production, but the fact that there is a folk music musical out there and so perfectly created. I mean, the way that it depicts folk music in the show, the fact that the folk musicians are very much part of the show. We all sit on stage and we drink beer with the fishermen in the pub. That is exactly been my life. I have grown up with the Morris. I've been a Morris dancer most of my life now, and drinking in pubs in festivals with smutty jokes by older men, walking around, beautiful seaside towns, Morris dancing and that kind of thing. It has been such a big part of my life. It is why I do what I do. And then to see this depicted so authentically on stage and be part of it. I mean, I just have so much love for everybody behind this production. Worked tirelessly, worked so hard to make it happen against really tall odds at times. I mean, the amount of craziness that goes on in the world of theatre. I mean, honestly, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe the show can still go on despite the things that are stood in its way. But yet it does go on because you're professional and you're working with hard-working professionals who find a way round the problem. Band, I will absolutely adore and treasure our memories working together. Some incredible moments, lots of laughter. All of us muddling through, trying to make it make sense and coming up with the most gorgeous score. I mean, just to have this dream as a child to one day work on a professional stage, having trodden the boards of many amateur dramatics productions, to then walk out. My very first stage was Birmingham Alexandra, which will always now be a treasured memory in my mind. Just walking out onto that stage, seeing how the production works behind the scenes. I have such a fascination with lighting and sound and how everything kind of works backstage to make the production work during the show. I think I got quite overwhelmed at many, many opportunities, just kind of thinking about how all of these nuts and bolts were working and coming together to make it make sense, to make it happen. I really got to get a sense of that in Canada because I was there from the very beginning. I didn't get to do Plymouth where the show opened in the UK, but I did get to see how the show is teched and put together and into a new venue, and have all of the production company out and working on that together was, you felt like you were kind of a small cog in a big machine, but if you weren't there, then that would be detrimental. Everybody was important. For somebody who likes hard work and likes working as part of a team, that was really special to be there as part of a team. Everyone's dedicated to getting it done. And then the feedback that we get afterwards, I mean, honestly, it's not why we do it, but, you know, to have people that come and time again, they're coming back to see it for their third, fourth, fifth. My mum saw it 7 times. Rave reviews, people love this show. If you got to see it, please drop a comment down below. Where did you see it? Which Melodeon player was playing? And yeah, let me know what you thought. And also if you'd like to see more of it. I don't know. Hopefully it will do more. I really would love to be part of it again. I think it's got legs and I really would love to see it do more. And yeah, fingers crossed. One of the wonderful musicians I've not mentioned yet is Hannah Cumming, our fiddle player, who came in at the drop of a hat just before Canada, and then because of reasons had to make the crazy life decision to drop all of her commitments in the UK and come out to Canada because we needed a fiddle player at the last minute. And then me and her shared a dressing room in Canada, and I knew of her before but I didn't know her, so we've become very good friends, both having come from an amateur dramatics background, both really wanting to work in musical theatre, and both incredibly over-excitable and having to contain that and be quiet backstage. So me and her shared a very similar journey, and here's a little clip of us getting ready in Glasgow.
Hello. The camera's down here, by the way, just so
hello.
that you're aware. We're in our dressing room. We've just done warm-up for a 2-show day here in Glasgow, isn't it?
Yeah, 2 shows.
Our first 2-show day this week. This is our penultimate week of the tour. We've had some amazing audiences.
Yeah, absolutely incredible.
And in case it's not obvious, we're both from the professional folk music circuit.
Yeah.
We're not theatre people, although we've both been like theatre addicts from a young age.
Quite a few shows that have the Actor-Musos on stage, but they're not constantly on stage and interacting like as a part of the ensemble. So basically the Actor-Musos, we are the ensemble as well, aren't we? So
yes.
There's scenes where we're acting and not playing any music, and there's wonderful swings, so on stage swings, so they can cover multiple roles, but when they're not needed, they're just on stage as part of the ensemble doing their own track. So there was one time where one swing had literally in half time, so in the interval, she had to go on for Maggie. With like very late notice.
I remember hearing about that.
Yeah.
Theatre kind of gets you kind of in, what's the hooked by the lip, and which is quite appropriate on a show about fishermen. But as soon as you kind of hooked, you are literally just, right, okay, I will sacrifice most things, you know, to make this happen. And
I quit my jobs. I had to resign. I had to resign from all my jobs. I had about 3 jobs plus gigs. So,
bye everyone, off to Canada.
Yeah, but I flew in with all my stuff straight into the stage. I was sleep deprived, and jet lag as well.
And then opening night was less than 24 hours since Hannah arrived in Canada, and
that was not okay.
Threw her in a dress. Somebody found her a costume. Thank you, wardrobe.
Yes, thank you.
And shoved her on, and I just was utterly blown away because we also had a drummer that had been flown in, especially because our
Adam.
wonderful drummer Louisa Beadle had unfortunately gone down with Bedell. God, I must edit that out.
Yeah. Sorry,
Louisa. She came down with COVID, which happened a little bit because obviously travelling and things. But shout out to Adam 20 or
20,
lovely 20, absolute legend. We fell off the stage.
Yep.
Because it was so narrow and black and crazy, and the wings at Malvern were really skinny as well. Actually, weren't they?
Really. Yeah.
Malvern's my theatre. I've gone there a lot, and it's just like it felt very special to be there.
Yeah. I didn't realise there was someone calling all the show, so all the light cues and sound cues and stuff. I never realised that was a thing at all. So that was really
Ruth.
Fascinating. Ruth, yeah.
Our wonderful
DSM.
Involved with Fisherman's Friends, that is your Act 2 beginners call. Act 2 beginners. Can I please have all cast to the stage, please? Crew and musicians to your positions, please. All involved with Fisherman's Friends, that is your Act 2 beginners call. Thank you. Last one. Enjoy it.
So she sits there with the book and goes through the whole script and presses buttons to cue certain light changes and sound changes.
That's just fascinating.
She's been there every single show. It's amazing. And we've done well over 200 now, haven't we? I think we've far surpassed that. Is it on
that,
250 maybe? I don't
Nearly,
know.
yeah, I think so.
I need to count it up. I'll put it here. I'll kind of pop a little pop-up once I've actually worked out exactly what
See
it
it
is.
down here. And the fact that, you know, there's an extensive auditioning process for this kind of thing, you know, which
neither of us did.
You know, that scares me shitless. You know, that scares me a lot.
Talk about imposter syndrome.
Half hour call.
Half hour call. That was Ruth over the tannoy. I think that's been one of the things on this show is like overall this has been the most incredible group of people backstage, on stage. There's obviously been dramas there is in any workplace, but I think things have been managed really well between the group of people that we're working with, and we all look out for each other and we look after each other and we all care deeply, and there's no fakery in that, which I have to say I was kind of anticipating might be a really awkward thing to navigate, is knowing how these people would be in real life. And I couldn't have wished for a better group of people. And I think everyone has said that, even the pros that have been doing this for like a lot longer than we, you know, we're literally newbies.
We're more nervous doing a gig or doing teachings or community groups, you know, folk orchestras, than I do this. Exactly. Than standing in front of like nearly 2,000 people, you know, which we did in Bristol. It's like, that's just mad. But anyway, the budget, I painted Queenie, so one of Mel's cats, and as a Christmas present when we were in Canada.
Honestly, I wasn't expecting it. We did a Secret Santa in Canada, so everyone kind of got a gift, but you didn't have to buy something for everyone. And Hannah just rocks up on Christmas Day and puts this beautiful wrapped parcel in my hand, and I was like, "What's this?" And she's like, "Oh, it's because we're dressing room buddies," and I was like, "Oh, great! I didn't think about that at all. So I'm the bad friend." No, I'm joking. It was this beautiful portrait of my cat, and I did actually cry because I hadn't seen them for, I think at that point, like 4 weeks or something.
Yeah, I remember you saying that you missed them a lot.
Check out Hannah's. I'll put a little link. You're on Instagram with your art, aren't you?
Hannah C Art.
I'll
So
tag
Hannah
that in
letter
here.
C Art. Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. If we mentioned about like, the physicality of what we do and how broken we are.
I mean, we are pretty broken. We have mentioned we're broken, but
one of the other things that kind of really struck me, and I knew I would have to get fitter for this job, because I play 4 instruments in the show. They're all quite heavy, and you're dancing around with them, and you're not really even backstage ever without an instrument on you.
Yeah.
So for like 2 hours, you just got about 2 to 6 kilos of weight just hanging off you.
For Melodeon, especially.
For Melodeon, yeah. So I've actually had to do quite a lot of work to get fitter. But I think we've all the actors, but particularly the musicians, we've really kind of battled through quite a lot of injury or just general playing sort of tension and stuff. It's been quite a lot to handle.
Tripping and falling on top of instruments, especially.
Yeah. Top tips for Actor-Musos. Maybe we can kind of have a top 3. Don't use your own instrument. Do weights in the gym.
Oh man.
Do proper warm-ups as well. I think this is something that definitely in the folk world, I've known a lot of professionals that have really buggered their backs. I'm talking about Melodeon players.
Right.
And I think it's just one of those things, it's getting better, but I think there's still a consideration that it's not a proper job, or I don't have to take it as seriously as other sort of realms in the folk world, in the music world. And I think there's a lot of charm to that, and it's a lot of what makes the folk world feel like a family and kind of, you know, something that everyone can get involved with. But honestly, I think when you start to do so much work professionally, when you're sat in a car travelling a lot and then you get up and go and do a gig, you're carrying heavy gear, you really do have to think about the toll that it takes on your body, because what's the price of not working? Basically, that's what it comes down to.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Ta-da! We've just had the 5,
Dun, dun, dun.
which means there's 5 minutes until we need to be down, ready to do the show. So thank you so much for watching. If you've got any comments or questions for Hannah or me, leave a little thing down below and we'll see what we can do. There's been a lot to say about this tour, so we might have missed some things. And Yeah, I think we're both going to really miss it, but I didn't know.
Oh God, I'm going to miss it so
I didn't
much.
know this woman before, and I love her to bits.
Oh, you knew my brother.
Well, I knew Alex Cumming, which a lot of you might know as the accordion player that lives in America now, but the fiddle player, Cumming.
The fiddle coming. No, that sounds worse.
No,
don't say that.
No. I'm so glad I get to do this.
Oh,
we could talk for England, so it has.
It's
it
been
really
so
has.
genuinely lovely.
And I think
I can't ruin my makeup now.
I've got a lifetime friend in you here, so honestly, this is the best thing to come out of Fisherman's.
Oh, don't!
Anyway, we're going to skid out.
Cry.
We're going to do a matinee in Glasgow, and then we're going to do it again tonight. So
we'll be back. Bye!
If you want to see more of that, guys, you can subscribe to my Patreon down below, and you can get the whole sort of chatty interview style thing with me and Hannah in our dressing room in Glasgow. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Take care, and I hope you're getting on with your instrument as well. And if not, I do a lot of teaching online, so do check out the links in the description. There's loads and loads of resources on my Patreon and on my online Melodeon classes and my online courses. So do check out the link in my description, and hopefully I'll get to see you online shortly. Bye.